I'm Carolyn Morgan, host of This Medical Moment. Join me as we hear from entrepreneurs who are changing the standard of care. This Work Break series will take less than 10 minutes of your time, and I promise you'll learn more about the future of healthcare. John, thank you so much for joining us on This Medical Moment. I'm hoping you can start by sharing with us the origin story of Whoop.
Going all the way back to, about 2010, 2011 is really when Whoop first started. My co-founder, Will Ahmed, he's the CEO of Whoop. He was the captain of the squash team at Harvard and an athlete all his life. So he was somebody that would push, never really taper, get injured, overtrained, and had no data to guide his training except for the feelings and experiences that him and his coach were going through. And he's like, there has to be something out there that can give me a little bit more information so that I can guide my training and help me perform at my best. And so he started to dive a little bit deeper into the exercise physiology research and quickly realized that monitoring your body the 2 hours a day while you're working out, of course, is important. But what about the other 22 hours of the day? How do you rest? How do you recover? What other stresses do you put on your body? How did you sleep? All of these things could be as important, if not more important, than monitoring it while you're working out. And so that was really the impetus for Whoop. Will wanted to find a device that could monitor his body, his physiology continuously 24/7, then also pair it up with an analytic system that can make sense of this incredible amount of physiological data to give him actionable insights for how to perform better. So he met myself at Harvard. I was studying astrophysics and computer science. And I actually ended up dropping out of Harvard after my sophomore year. Will graduated and we started Whoop together and brought on a third co-founder from Harvard, Aurelian Nicolai, who's still with us today, who leads up our hardware engineering efforts.
It's no surprise then that athletes have taken to Whoop so quickly. How have you gone about reaching those athletes in the early days and giving them the opportunity to get onto Whoop?
From when we first founded Whoop 2012, that summer, to when the first version of the technology was ready, which was 2014, 2015, the wearable marketplace went from being non-existent to incredibly saturated. And so instead of trying to spend millions of marketing dollars to the consumer, we decided, hey, let's start with the best athletes in the world, validate our technology and show it can help make a difference. It is different than all these other wearables that were out there, and use that brand halo and validation then to move into the consumer marketplace. And amongst our first 100 users were people like LeBron James and Michael Phelps, which was really awesome. And we used that then in 2016 was actually when we entered the consumer marketplace with the same promise, the idea that we could monitor your body and give you insights to help you improve your performance. And from there, it gradually expanded based on how useful this continuous physiological information is.
Where was the first moment for you that you were like, this is going to be cool? We're onto something here.
Those first initial team sales, whether it was like the Harvard squash team or having LeBron James use it and actually change the way they trained and slept based on the recommendations we were making. I think that's like really the aha moment.
As an advertising agency that's dedicated to changing the standard of care, that was something we were so excited to see. I mean, and a lot of the things that I've read, it's been very, very much, you can point to, I got this data point, so I'm going to change the way I'm training, or maybe I'm going to take a recovery day.
And it's not magic, right? Like it doesn't seem like magic, but actually getting people to pay attention to the metrics in a way that was engaging and easy for them to use, I think was a big breakthrough with Whoop. Can't change what you don't measure. And I think Whoop, is providing that base level and then the recommendations on top to really alter the way people behave.
What are you hearing about those conversations that they're then having with their HCPs? Are the HCPs responding to this data? How are they feeling about it out in the non-athletic world?
We definitely hear about members giving us feedback that they've used this data to share with their doctors. Some doctors really value the data, others are still more skeptical, and those are things we're working on. We wanted to make sure we were giving feed-forward insights, not just feedback. Our view has always been to empower the individual, the patient, to know more about their bodies and then bring it to their doctor. And however they got there and whatever becomes of it, at least we got them into the office and opening up that conversation.
As you think back on your journey from then to now, what advice would you give to entrepreneurs that are just starting out?
I think the most important thing is that people develop their own really strong vision. In the early days, there's 1.5 million ways you can go, and you don't have the resources to explore all of them. So pick what you think is going to make the greatest change and what you're passionate about, and you have to throw everything you have at it. It's going to take a long time to ramp up, and it's definitely a journey. And I think just having that focus and not getting too distracted with every opportunity that comes up is, especially in the earliest days, is super important for long-term success.
John, thank you so much for joining us on This Medical Moment. The story of Whoop is very inspirational. We can't wait to see what you're going to do next.
Thanks, Carolyn. I really enjoyed talking with you today.